even with the religious story, you guys, you gotta just, it's not my first time doing these Snapchat um, updates or whatever for y'all. But even if you look at Christianity, if you look at that religion, you'll see where a lot of times people, like, I don't want to curse while I'm talking about high vibrational energies or whatever, but just bear with me. We got some stupid people like in my background making noise and stuff like that. I'm not gonna call people, just I'm really, really trying to conduct myself as an empress, even though I get like a lot of hate. And then, God was showing me the more I elevate, they're gonna try to like act like they wasn't coming out of one energy when they originally was. But anybody at this point that's coming for a high vibrational person that works out of light, that's actually doing the work on themselves, I'm telling you, it's a trap. Like, because your intentions is going to be questioned, and you can't hide from God, you can't run from the truth. So, and then it's going to backfire on you double, because it's like, if you have your own purpose and your own mission and your own 3D priorities that you need to be worrying about, why were you even wherever you were trying to bring somebody else down that actually knows their purpose, that's actually living in their purpose? See, does that even make sense? So back to the original point I was making, you guys. Even if you look at Christianity, which is not real, people seen that this person was born in adversity. They seen that so-called Jesus was born without parents, without any family support like that, for real. Like, it was but still somehow the enemy in the physical 3D form still attacked this person, with no remorse, knowing the truth, knowing what they were born without as far as support. Okay, if they can know that truth about the world we live in way back then, to write a false story like that, it's still going on. So it's time for other people to catch up as well. Most people still sleep to it because you got so many different factors and distractions and programming and all kind of stuff, and you just have to just disregard that. No matter how many people or how many levels of volume you try to get the truth out to people, it's still going to be way more people asleep, because that's their agenda every day, the way they design this place. The agenda is to have more people vibrating at a lower consciousness, a way more controlled consciousness, okay, a more hive pack mentality. So if you're somebody that's individual, you're going to be targeted just off of that. But then, you have positive characteristics about yourself, that's also going to put a target on your back. But I just wanted to use that as an example. If you're a Christian, if you're somebody that's familiar with it, then you already know that the person was born into a sad story as an orphan. All right, and look how his life so-called ended. Look how they wrote the story and said his life ended. And so we're still living in times like that, from when. So I'm gonna try to like pretty much make this and maybe one more to end of my point. And because I just wanted to check in on y'all, let y'all know I'm good. I definitely still been doing my spiritual warfare prayers. I've been focused. I've been relaxing. I've been trying to get some rest, catch up on some well-needed rest. A lot of times, things we deal with as far as our health, it just be you needing to take. Have you ever been sick, had a stomach virus, been drunk, had a hangover, and soon as you rest, soon as you sleep it off, you feel better? That's because that's like that, and water is pretty much two of the most important things that we need to like continuously heal ourselves and revitalize. And so I've been trying to do that, but of course, the ignorance around me, the misery around me, people that know if they were to even be, their souls know, their minds aren't woke enough to understand this, but their souls are aware that if they were to even be half as brave as my soul, to not let the world and the filthy ways of it break them down, stop them, block them, hinder them, not let times when groups have to come together and tear down things you've built up time and time again, conspire against you, not let multiple different planned out events tear down your self-esteem, building up other people behind the scenes to work against you, as well as to compare you to, and somehow, because you really are the real star, they still can't see you because you're authentic. You have actual real fairies and ancestors and stuff and God around you on real time, okay, helping you, orchestrating and directing and moving things around you. They see multiple people coming together trying to build up a fake false person to go against a divine being. They see that, so in the beginning of your awakening, these are things that you are going to worry about, and they want you to worry about it. But the closer that you become with God and your spirit guides and things like that, this 3D realm don't really put no fear in you. What can happen, what people say, what people do, not having people around you, things people threaten, things that you expect to happen. You kind of just move more so and put your faith, you invest your faith more in the spiritual realm and what they're doing. And you see that because, I mean, you know the truth about your life more than anybody. And so you can look back and you can see receipts when people were wrong, when people were mad because they were wrong, when people underestimated you because they were just judging you from you walking in a door with a bunch of bags. You didn't even get yourself together. And it's always an audience waiting for you to judge you off of an encounter while you're struggling, an encounter while you're unsupported. You know, if they were to actually give you the space and the resources, if they were to give you the space, time, and resources to actually have the, you know, the leeway that most people that aren't targeted to the level that you are have, you know, as well as the privacy to pop out and surprise. And, you know, there's no telling, you know, who or where you would be. But see, don't let bitterness, you guys, because I've literally been doing a lot of heart chakra work, not just because it's the right thing to do, but also because it's for you. You understand? Like, not just because it's going to help you evolve, do it because all of that pain and heaviness and things that people have said and done, they intended for you to think about it over and over, for you to let it keep you in the past, for you not to get up, wash it off, and keep moving, you know, and let God be God in your life. Let miracles, blessings, and, you know, just to let those actual rainy days make your petals on your flowers sprout, to make you bloom. They don't want that. They want you to just let it just make you just drown in sorrow. And so I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm not into that field because I'm actually honest with myself. And I don't think I'll ever be like healed to the extent of happiness, joy, optimism that I used to be before I was spiritual, before I actually came into consciousness with my past life, all of the heaviness, burdens, and, you know, the experiences that my soul experienced in a previous lifetime and other lifetimes before then, meaning I'm more realistic with what my stable personality should be. Yes, we have good days. Yes, we have, you know, windfalls of luck. We have, you know, sometimes the planets work in alignment with certain aspects we have in our birth charts and things like that happen. But certain rituals, roots that have been placed on you, certain meetings and oaths that these idiots have also agreed to, they're not going anywhere. Certain envious people that have lied on you, that have actually built their empires and platforms off of your failures, downfalls, embarrassments, and humiliating moments. They're not going to give up, you know, because that's what got them on, was you falling off. You understand? So there, you know, that's real. To be realistic is to know that when you see attacks, when you get negativity, even though you're doing, you know, it's like saying somebody don't want to get a job, don't want to work, constantly tearing them down, and the minute they do, now you're attacking something else while they're trying to do that. You just got to expect these idiots to not have a life and come for you. And don't take that too personal, because that can irritate your spirit, guys. That can irritate the creator, because it's almost like them saying, what do you expect? You know, you're asking for this, that, and the third. Even in other lifetimes, we gave it to you. You didn't know that it comes with obsessed haters. It comes with delusional people. It comes with people that are blind spiritually. It comes with people. So when you look at it from that point of view, you'll see where you can't be too, you know, let bitterness get in your heart, because that's where I was able to heal, because I was like, okay, you know, it kind of comes with the game. It comes with life. It comes with being in position that you want to be in. You understand? It's gonna, I mean, that's how it all works together. Unfortunately, nobody, well, for me and for some other people, nobody's there to tell you these things. You just figure it just starts to make sense later on. It's like, wow, I pray for a better singing voice. I pray for to look prettier. I pray for to get my teeth fixed. I pray for, you know, to be thicker. I pray for anything that us, you know, honey tribe, you know, us mermaids, empresses, things like that. Things like, you notice that you pray for these things, but you don't know how you're going to have to get it. And a lot of times say you're dating somebody and y'all are serious and you've been with this person since high school, and you know they're loyal, they know you're loyal, y'all locked in, but they cheat and you're a little insecure sometimes, but you're praying for, longer, thicker, beautiful hair. Like, you actually still believe in your fairies. You're actually a divine feminine, and you're praying for these things, but you don't know that those energies, those memories, that negative energy from him, from things he said during arguments, or things females he cheated on you with have said to you, people comparing you to these people, just the entire experience is a blockage, and it's affecting you to where certain chakras are blocked, like your solar plexus, which rules your manifestation skills. It rules you being able to create and co-create. It has everything to do with your creativity, it has everything to do with your confidence. And a lot of times we link that when we're in relationships, which relationships more so deal with the heart chakra, but all your chakras are always going to also be needed and effective, when you're in a relationship, and affected. And so I just noticed that when we're in relationships that are toxic, or we get cheated on, and the heart chakra is all shattered because of betrayal and things like that, the solar plexus definitely takes a hit as well. And when your solar plexus is out of, when it's out of whack and it's not activated, it's not balanced, it's not charged, it's not vibrating to the highest frequency, a lot of times you can't manifest. As soon as you think about an idea, doubt comes in. You doubt yourself, you self-sabotage, you remember, your mind goes back to emotions and energies that you felt when you lost, energies that you felt. So it's the opposite energies of confidence, of bravery, like I said, of creativity, and being able to create and manifest. And so, spirit might have that person leave your life. They might find somebody that they think are better than you. They might find somebody that their family or the community approves of more. And you might think this is a bad thing. You might, hold. And the whole time, certain spiritual systems, prayers, ancestors, or whatever spiritual guides that you have, they probably watch it like, she probably mad. She probably don't feel like she's spiritually supported right now. But later on, they're going to know we got them, and we got somebody better, or we got something better, or whatever the case may be. And so you'll see that. And so by you eventually, maybe the heartbreak, it took that, the betrayal, whatever, however it had to manifest, you and this person split, y'all separate. Now you can actually nurture and, actually focus on the heart chakra. What hurt, what the betrayal, now you actually can be honest with self. Sometimes people have friends, other people to talk to and help them also unleash and unpack, certain built up burdens and things that are, it's built up inside. And some people, they're strong enough, or they're more comfortable doing that solo. And so now you can do that. I've noticed now the opportunity will be presented once you have that other half, that other soulmate, twin flame, whatever energy, that soul tie in general, that's what it is, pulling, from your crown chakra, third eye chakra is, and so once that split is made, now you can, and it might take sorrow at first, grieving the connection, being in denial, like I said, maybe leaning on other people, kind of, like I said, grieving because you're used to that clutch. You're used to depending on them for other things. But now, like a muscle, you have to strengthen. You have to strengthen certain areas, aka chakras. They just don't teach us about these things. You have to strengthen them without that individual or any other individual. And so when you start to do that, you start to see slowly, and it's going to be so many other karmics, and that's not always a bad thing. It just means that you haven't evolved into your divine feminine energy, meaning you have not connected with divine. It's so many that are going to be like able to relate on many levels that you can't even put in words. When I give these examples, but you'll start to, certain hairstyles, certain ideas, certain things you walked away from before you got in a connection with this person, certain things that, entertain you, certain hobbies, certain songs, TV shows, outfits, holidays that you, used to like that might be coming up, friends that you stop hanging out with, just all of this, that's the solar plexus. And in nature, the sun would be connected to that, which is what gives you life. Okay. It helps you grow. It helps you see the actual physical manifestations of what's going on inside. And so you start to notice that and get your confidence back. Like, of course, not as fast as I'm saying it, but with time and healing, these things start taking place. It might take a couple months, but and some people it might take a couple weeks, but you start to see these changes and notice the pull. All of a sudden, the people for situations that are not, romantic. And so, most of all, there's an imbalance that ultimately happens. Okay, and I'm just telling you, I might as well put you up on the complete full game concerning that point, instead of just making a point and not putting you up on the full, solution and just the whole dialogue of that issue. What originally went wrong is that you stopped pouring into yourself. So somewhere there was a healthy balance, because that's why this masculine energy, okay, even for LGB situations, the more dominant masculine energy pursued you because there was a balance. And you eventually accepted and showed them reciprocity, the Six of Pentacles energy. But then somewhere, like I said, maybe whether it was the betrayals, maybe it was the third party situations, people comparing, maybe that the actual person saying things that they didn't mean, out of spite, out of hate, just mad at the time in the heat of the moment. These things wounded certain chakras, and this happens every day. This happens whether you're in a relationship or not. But when we're talking about that and how you need to unblock these areas before you can actually reach certain milestones, or even just end certain contracts, certain chapters that keep going, right? For them never to repeat again. Meaning you can go out and date again. You can open up a business again. You can start another friendship again. But certain chapters, certain red flags you ignore, certain, things you want to actually be able to show the universe you learned a lesson. And that's what I'm speaking on. So what ends up happening is we already deal with our chakras dealing with negative energy, absorbing frequencies that aren't best for us anyway. Okay, and you already have to be somebody, whether you do spiritual baths, whether you do cleansings, you have chants, meditations, prayers, songs, yoga, exercise. Look, whatever it is, you wear talismans, you wear spiritual bracelets, anklets, whatever. You already have to do that just for you, just because that's the world we live in, right? Confidence has a chakra attached to it. Fear has a chakra attached to it in a negative way, meaning that's the manifestation if it's not operating in the right way. But bravery, should I say, being content, being stable-minded, all of these things, happy, intuitive, all of this stuff has chakras attached to it. And daily dealing with spiritual warfare, which just comes with being here on this planet, these chakras get affected negatively or positively, and it's your duty to be mature enough spiritually to cleanse, balance, recharge, and feed positively those chakras so that you continue to be the best person you can. So when it comes to relationships, that's even a deeper level, okay? Because now you're merging your chakras, your consciousness, as well as your spiritual soul contract and purpose with somebody else, whether y'all married or just living together. That's what's going on. And so in these